What's your story, honey? Come tell it on Kiddy Pink Radio, where black media matters.
Clap if you've ever wanted to kill somebody.
Alright. Let's get married. You dead motherfucker. I told you to stop playing with me. Now look at you. Dead. Sprawled out here for all the world to see. Take me, Lord. Right here. Take me, Lord. Yeah, that was the best chicken dressing you ever had. You went out with a bang. You went out with a full stop. That little bitch you was cheating on me with, stomach look a little swollen. She over there showing her motherfucking ass. You must have gave her some of that dick. I'm okay. Ooh, Lord. I'm okay. I guess you forgot to put that bitch in the wheel, huh? That's why she over there showing that. I told you to stop playing with me. Me and my new boo thing headed to Jamaica right after this. Rest in peace, babe. Oh, Lord. I see more for me.
You're tuned in to Kiddy Pink Radio, where black media matters. Keep it locked.
You not famous yet. I'd be like, you didn't share my shit. How come you ain't shared it yet? That's what I don't understand. That's why I'm not famous.
We're asking everybody to share. Please share. Please share.
Share our shit.
Share our shit. I was trying to be, proper prim, but since Ronnie said let's get ratchet, let's get ratchet.
Let's get ratchet. Let's get ratchet.
That's tuned in right now. This is our second episode of What's Your Story with your host, Kiddy Pink.
And Rahni Rochelle.
Yay! This is the Amber Show. I've been watching Bad Girls Club.
Oh my goodness. That's season with Amber and Tanisha, right?
Yes, the Ambers. This is the Amber Show. Do, 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 do.
And it was Tanisha for me. I ain't getting no sleep because of y'all. Y'all ain't getting no sleep because of me. Like, yes, that's the energy.
Yeah, I had to cut it off a little bit because my energy was getting a little too nuck if you buck,
Yeah, I love it.
Today's topic, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be one for the books, darling. Would you like to? Huh?
I said, where's the wine?
Thank you, darling. Thank you. Sip.
Yes.
Most definitely gonna be one for the books. We really loved the interaction that we got last week. Thank everybody that made that last Tuesday a success. It was awesome. We got a lot of feedback from you guys, but we decided that what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the comments crunk. Don't that help with the hit list when your comments is booming?
I believe it does. I believe it does.
Okay. Okay. So shoot, and not just that. If y'all feeling generous, myself as well as my co-host, we would love the gifts. We appreciate gifts, honey. We love gifts, honey.
Drop a gift. Get
It's the gifts. It's the
you can
gifts.
always, if you're feeling generous, a gala trophy, treasure.
We like them all.
We appreciate you.
So let's get into some things. I guess I'll start, and I'll start
Okay.
from the very first moment that a man made me feel.
Oh, wait. What are we talking about tonight?
Oh,
You want me to introduce it and then you could go?
my bad. I just jumped right into it. It's the
We ready to
wine.
talk. We ready
Charge
to talk.
it to the wine, not my mind. But go ahead.
So last week's conversation brought about some feelings on BIGO. And between a conversation between Kitty and myself, we were having a conversation, and we found that tonight's topic kind of stemmed from that, but also just our experiences, women in America, as Black women in America, Black women in this world. So tonight's topic, we are talking about sexism. Sexism, for the dictionary, for those who just aren't really aware. I always like to
Get it in.
get it in. Yeah. So sexism is prejudice, stereotyping, or discrimination, typically against women on the basis of sex. In layman's terms, sexism in language is an offensive reminder of the way that culture sees women. So let's get into it, sis. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
What's the story?
Okay. So I dipped off into some things, and I realized that even though we may get mistreated like a lot of other women, there are some deeper, like in different countries and stuff like that, how the woman is not valued at all. Like there are rules set into place where women will go. I think in Dubai, there are rules against women like into place to where like they'll go to prison and all type of unfair treatment of women. I think it was 1848 when it was 1848 when women first started, women worldwide as well as men started gathering together with the Feminism Act. And not even with that did I realize how that movement came about. And that's why I wanted to start. The very first time I felt like a man was overpowering me and basically trying to make me feel like this is what I said, or the very first time that I felt it or that I acknowledged it was when I was in high school and I was in PE. And we had a male coach. I think he was fresh out of college, as a matter of fact. And I feel like he would pick with me, as in like, how they say little boys pick at girls that they like.
I don't like that saying, but yes, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, that's what it felt like a lot. And yeah, I ain't never been no athletic chick. I've never claimed to be. Obviously, y'all can look at me. I've been eating good my entire life. And I might have been a little lazy when it came down to sports in high school. I just wasn't interested. I won't say lazy. I just wasn't interested in sports. But I had to have PE as a credit, as we all know. And I felt like this man tortured me practically. And it got to a point to where one day I called him out on making me feel uncomfortable, and he made it like, little girl, I don't give a damn. It is what I said it is. And it wasn't the teacher or the person in authority that I was feeling coming from him. It was more so of, I'm a man, I was feeling from him, if that makes sense to anybody. And I can remember like shedding up and just going along with that. And I think that from that stemmed my whole attitude. I'm gonna be, you know, what the stereotypical black woman was or is: loud, neck, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't that wasn't the goal I was aiming for. The goal I was aiming for is you will never make me feel that fucking small ever the fuck again.
Again.
Again. And as I got older, I realized exactly why we say we cry misogyny. I believe just when I was in my dad's house, I was 20, I was in my early 20s living with my dad. And even with him, it just felt like yeah, you gonna do what I tell you to do. This my house, these are my rules.
Yep.
And if you don't like it, get the fuck out. That was my dad's attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I got the fuck out. But it ruined a space where we would have had the chance to, you know, actually bond, because we really didn't have time to bond with me growing up the way things happened.
Mm-hmm.
But it ruined that opportunity because it's sad to say, but I didn't want to be around him because he made me feel, yeah, he made me feel small. He made me feel powerless. And I didn't like feeling like that.
And you shouldn't feel like that.
Right. So, like, that's my story. And my father's not the only person I felt this with. I felt this with lots of men in other places and other spaces, especially in the industry that I work in, being a media personality. Before then, I was an artist. So there were a lot of times where men made me feel the only thing or the only way that I can make it was to fuck them. Go that way. So damn, another memory just popped up. And I mean, oh my God, this is so personal. But even in college, there were professors and there were men that I dated that made me feel just powerless. A lot of people
feel powerless.
Okay, let's say, for example, a lot of people say that there's no such thing as consensual rape. Look it up real quick. Let's get deep. We gonna call it out. Let's look up and see what that pulls up. There's a such thing as consensual rape, meaning it's consensual, but I didn't say anything because I feared what would happen if I did say anything.
I get what you mean when you explain like that.
Yeah.
So consensual rape is both people must agree to sex every single time for it to be consensual. Without consent, sexual activity is sexual assault or rape. Consent is easy. Is that what it is?
No, that's not exactly what myself or any other woman would describe it as. But as you see, it's not even in the dictionary, which brings up another point. A lot of times men don't even know that they're making us feel like this.
Right.
And I think that's why this conversation is needed. I don't want to take up too much time. I want you to speak as well. So pop in, baby.
Yeah. So I don't want to say I don't have a particular experience that from my childhood or back, but I know that I've experienced it in my adulthood. And well, I guess you could say I have experienced it in childhood. Real quickly, disclaimer. I know that I'm looking down. I'm on my computer and I'm looking at Kitty while I'm talking. So to me, it makes sense to look at Kitty, but I'm trying to look straight ahead at the computer and then like to the left and talk to her like, oh girl, what's up? Like, so just bear with me, people. But anyways, I digress. Back to the subject at hand. So there was, I'll talk about recent events. There was an issue recently that I was talking with men, and I basically told them I don't like being talked over when I'm trying to express myself. And it stems from sexism. It stems from my childhood upbringing, honestly. My father, like, whenever I tried to voice my opinion, my father just shut me down. And some would say that's a form of emotional abuse or verbal abuse, whatever. But making me feel like I can't speak up and like my opinion or my words aren't valid and I don't like what I have to say doesn't matter is problematic.
Yeah.
So I was trying to explain myself to people that that's an issue for me. And because I think it wasn't really landing, um, I think that, how do I say this? Whatever issue I had when I was trying to explain to said men, I don't think they understood because they haven't, how do I say it? Because you don't experience it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I don't think men understand, like, when you're over here telling people to be quiet and speaking over them, I think it may be like a habit, but you don't realize how it may affect another person. And I think there's grace to be had on both ends of the spectrum, men and women,
Right.
to to hear a person out. And if they're saying, this bothered me, then if you care about the person or whatever relationship you have with the person, change or do better or adjust, pivot.
I think the biggest thing that we all want in exchange, both men and women alike, is we want to be understood
And respected.
and respected, most definitely. But I think
Understood, yeah.
respect ties into even understanding, because if
Yes.
I make an effort to try to see where you're coming from, or even try to step into your high heel for a few minutes, honey,
Step in them.
that, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
You want me to go get
that's
them?
but what I'm saying is if I even mentally make it a chore for me to do that, just so we can have some type of reconciliation, or just so we can be on even grounds, disagree, agree to disagree, walk away from it, whatever. We
Right.
all just want to be understood, and we want all just want to be understood. I want you to understand where I'm coming from, and I'm going to make sure that you know I understood where you're coming from, but let me show you where you had me fucked up at. Also, I wasn't trying to say
Drop that bomb, Kitty.
I didn't mean it like that, but
No.
I know some men are going to take that. Y'all don't respect us, y'all, and I don't think that it's something that you do consciously. I don't think it's something that you do on purpose. I think it's something that a lot of you men have been
Just,
conditioned and
yes.
taught, and this is something that is
As a part of
instilled in us. Go
as a
ahead.
part of their masculinity.
Exactly, and it's toxic masculinity, and that's what we're trying to get men worldwide to see. This may even help some of y'all treat your wives better, because even with some of y'all wives, y'all think the only reason that woman there is to be your maid, to clean and cook for you and take care of your kids, like,
Okay. That
and
what do you bring to the table conversation?
let me write that down. That may be the next thing.
Go
What do you
ahead.
bring to the table? But I really don't think that it's something that y'all are maliciously doing. Some of you maybe, because some of you are a little. Some of y'all crazy. I've dated you. That's how I know. But I don't think men do it to be malicious. I think it's just a part of, like what you said, what they're taught as far as being masculine. And the thing is men complain about, especially black men complain about women who are too strong or too masculine, or too independent, but you have to allow us, and I believe I said this last week, you have to allow us a space to be soft. If we can't be soft, if you don't allow us the opportunity to be soft, we're going to always have to be hard.
Right.
And I'm like, that whole, first of all, I can get loud. I am loud, but I also don't have much of a voice to really just be loud, you know what I'm saying, strongly, like in arguing and stuff. So I definitely get that. I've been in spaces where men have tried to intimidate me by raising their voice. Matter of fact, just experienced this recently. I went to the hood store, didn't have no business there, no way. But I pulled up and this young man thought I was talking to him, but I wasn't talking to him. And it got to a point to where me and him were going back, and I do realize as a 38-year-old woman that I might not have put myself in the safest of spaces, but sometimes y'all know how it go. You got me fucked up. I got time today, cuz, and you don't give a damn about being safe or the fact that somebody could kill you. It's just sometimes y'all gotta people have to understand as a whole that you're not the only one that's going through some shit today.
Facts.
And I think if we all kept that in mind, in the back of our mind, which I try to do that, but if we all kept that in the back of our mind in a consistent pattern, this world might be a better place. We might cure war and every damn thing. But back to what I was saying. So the argument got heated, you know what I'm saying? And like finally he raised his voice at me. And at that point, I didn't give a fuck.
None.
Because no, what you're not going to do is you're not going to scream over me. You're not going to talk. That's how I get when people yell at me. You got me fucked up.
Well,
I go to a whole a different place. Like,
and I'm the opposite, actually. I will completely disengage. Because I know I have a bad temper. And so if you're trying to yell at me and talk over me, let me just disengage, because I don't want anything to get worse than it is.
And then just even the insults that he was hurling at me, you big fat bitch. You know, bitch, look at you. You know, you pulling out a food stamp card. So I know you broke now, bitch. I got more money than you if I got a food stamp card. Let's be clear. Anyway, I'm telling y'all too much of my business. Anyway, you pulling out a food stamp card, bitch. I know you ain't got no money. I got more money than that hoe. Matter of fact, get the fuck out of my store. I own this store, bitch. Just the way he was talking to me, it was just like, y'all really don't respect us. And most people look at that situation like, well, you was arguing with him. I didn't get into a arguing phase. I'm gonna tell you what fucked him up. I was roasting him. I was not screaming, none of that. I was roasting him. I was really roasting him. Like, how do you own this store, sir, and you walking around this bitch with a sequin backpack? Take that little girl back her backpack. Like, I was talking shit to him. You know what I'm saying? Take your little girl, take your little sister back her backpack, get them drugs out her backpack. Like, I'm talking to this man like that because why, you know, I'm a Pisces, diehard Pisces. I'm sweet as pie. My heart is pure as fuck. But whenever you get me started, baby, there's no middle. That we either gonna go straight to heaven, hallelujah, glory, hallelujah.
0 to 100 real quick.
Or we gonna go straight to motherfucking hell. What's up, Pops? Because the devil is my daddy. Straight up. So, like, let me get back on track. I brung that up because it was just like he felt like by screaming at me, that was gonna make me feel some type of way. And I told y'all about my high school shit. Boom, right back there again. You trying to overpower me, nigga? That's not gonna happen.
He tried to scream you into submission.
That part, bitch, and you know. That's another thing, men, y'all really think women are hard. We're really not. One thing about it is you're not going to get submission from us. Like my grandma used to say, you can't get bees with vinegar. You got to try honey.
No more bees with honey, baby.
You got to try honey. You got to try honey. That's not how you're going to get whenever you react in a manner that's up here. Guess what? I'm elevated, bitch. Ding, ding. Penthouse, I'm up here now. And there's no chill. I don't have any breaks. And that's another thing. Like y'all say we crazy, but y'all don't treat us with care like we are crazy. Like if I knew women were crazy, as y'all say we are, I would be
Man,
cautious.
not crazy. Like these men, aka these niggas, they are really out here tripping. Like, and I'm like, they're the problem. We aren't crazy. You're trying to make us feel crazy. But that's another topic for another day. Like, let's get back to sexism, right?
I mean, it can even go with that too, though, because I've had men I've dated that been on some 50-50 shit,
Mm.
but they want you to be a submissive woman.
I'm not submitting to crazies. Like, that's crazy. I'm not submitting.
I gotta pay half the bills, and for some odd reason, men be so paranoid with a woman that don't want to pay half the bills. I feel like this: we ain't got half and shit up. I'm gonna make sure that like the inside of the house is taken care of, the toiletries, the food. There's gonna be food in your house and shit like that. That's what I'm gonna be doing with my money. But as far as like the rent and like a majority of the bills, now extra shit like the internet, I got that, boo boo, stuff like that. You can compromise with a man that's willing to compromise about that.
Right.
If anybody got that, I hope that didn't go over anybody's head, because I know how y'all niggas be slow.
Oh, I got some. I've already said. In the workplace, I work from home, right?
Oh God.
I work from home, so just I don't. Let me just tell you this, okay? So my supervisor, I had my mid-year review with my supervisor this past. I actually had it today, but he was mentioning that he sent it out for me to review last week, and so I'm going through it, and I was like, oh, like you have my pay grade incorrect. I was like, oh, I'm this. Basically, I was reminding him that my pay, my status as an employee or officer is higher than what was notated on the paperwork. And somebody else chimed in our team and was like, oh, it's going to look like that until the end of the year. Like, you're fine. It's completely normal. And my supervisor immediately says, thanks for the save, because Ronnie was going to rip my head off. It made me feel a type of way, because why do I have to react? Like, I know he was joking, but it was at my expense of being a woman and being like emotional, and then being a Black woman in the workplace, right?
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
So that it made me feel a type of way. Like, that joke makes it seem like I'm aggressive and emotional in the workplace, when all I'm saying is, hey, I noticed an error, and then you're making a joke at my expense. Was it funny? It can be, but it just, in hindsight, when I looked at that message again, it made me feel a type of way, and I was like, I'm not cool with that, because that's not who I want to be, and that's not who I am.
Right. I I definitely, the workplace, big time. I came here to work for a radio station, and this is the one that really had me just so bothered for such a long time. But not, and this ain't to say nothing bad about the radio station that I work for or nothing like that. They were awesome. We have awesome relationships now, but there was, at that time, it felt like men were trying to overpower me again. And they were like, hey,
She's a mother first, y'all.
yeah, get in there, go, King, go, stop playing with me. My son, I'm gonna have to beat it out of him. He trying to make it where I feel powerless.
Overpower you,
Trying
sis.
to overpower me. Maybe it's just something from maybe that's what they get. I don't
They're born
know.
with it.
Maybe they born with it, but Where was I at? Okay, working at the radio
Radio
station.
station.
It just always felt like the men always came for me, and like you were saying, they look at it as, oh, she's irrational, she's emotional, and that's so why I relate to Monique in her situation previously, and y'all seen what happened. Those same men have to come back now and kiss her ass, so I don't know what 50 Cent did or what he said, but those people had to come back and kiss Monique's ass now.
And shout out to people like 50 Cent though. He may be
G-Unit.
he may be an asshole, but I'm here for his answer.
I see a sweet part. I see a sweetness in him.
I mean, he's a Cancer. I'm a Cancer, so I'm here for
okay. Is that what it is?
Yeah. I wrote down like my experiences of.
Okay.
I also have this coworker. I mean, and it can also go with like, I don't want to say racism. It's not really sexism, but I felt a kind of way because of who I am. So so I have this coworker. He happens to be a Black man. And he's married to a Hispanic lady. And we have a group chat at work. So basically anytime somebody has a question at work, they'll put it in the group chat. And so one day it was just me and no, it was everybody on the team. And he posed his question and I immediately responded. He didn't take what I had to say. He skipped over. We had a whole hour and a half conversation in our group chat. And somebody else said the same
thing you said.
He's like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to try that. We could have saved us a whole hour and a half conversation.
If you had to just
5 minutes. I'm talking about,
baby.
And it just bothered me. And it's sometimes when it comes to like those group chats, my supervisor will back me up. And he's like, yeah, Ronnie's right. So like, but why does it take for a man to validate what the hell I'm saying?
Exactly. And I'm sorry, go ahead. I was just gonna say, men be saying all the time, our men always say that the white man holding them down, and it's just like, to be quite honest with y'all, y'all treat us like you're the white man and we're y'all. In that scenario, that's how it feels when it comes to men.
Cyclical.
Yeah. So like, and like having that in your workplace, like you have to see those people again. It's not like you gonna go off and unless you decide I'm quitting today and you can afford it, but you're gonna have to or you're gonna have to see those people.
I actually seen them on Friday. It was the first time I met my supervisor because we've all been working from home.
Okay.
The whole pandemic. But the Black guy, I met him in the office. I honestly think he might have a thing against Black women. That's a conversation for another day. We can definitely talk about Black women and Black men, like what's going on in our community. Go ahead and put some shades on, because
what's your story, honey?
But it just bothers me because, like, why is it, like I said, why is it that what I'm saying has to have validation from another male for you to understand, for you to accept it? Like, it's like I'm incapable of knowing what the hell I'm talking about, but yet Black women are the most educated in America. That's crazy.
Right.
But go off, sir. That happened at work. My supervisor said the thing about, I was going to mess him up or whatever. And then, I went on a date. So, Kitty, I was an athlete in high school. I played softball for 13 years, right? And I really loved softball. I was on the varsity softball team. I set a record at my school for being the first Grand Slam. I love softball. I carry a bat and a glove in my trunk right now. Like, if anybody ever needs me to play softball, I'm there. Anyway, so I'm talking to this guy, and I'm like, you always take me out to eat. Like, I'm over here like gaining these LBs. Like, you like it, but I don't. So I was like, let's do an interactive date. And I was like, let's go to the batting cages. So we get to the batting cages. And like, we're just, trying to play cute or whatever and joke around. And the guy at the batting cage was like, oh, who's going to win? He was like, oh, I'm going to win. She doesn't know when. I mean, like, we were just like wagering, right? And he was like, I'm going to win. Like, I'm a man. She's a girl. Da-da-da-da. Man, baby, we went to the batting cages. I tore his ass up. He came back, and I was like, and the guy was like, who won? I was like, me. And it was just, I don't know. It was just like the need for him to feel like to beat his chest. You know how men like to puff their chest. He felt the need to like puff his chest and be like, oh, I'm a man. Like, she can't possibly beat me in the batting cages or whatever.
Are you sure about that?
And just like athletics, it was just like, oh, it's possible. I don't know. It just made me feel a type of way for real. And then my last example, because I've been talking. My last example, it doesn't relate to me, but it's a very, very relevant and current topic, which is Justice Jackson in her confirmation hearings, and how the white Republicans, men, were trying to discredit her. Yet she's the most qualified. She's the most qualified candidate that they found. President Biden found. Also, she's more qualified than half the motherfuckers sitting on the Senate, the current Senate. That's crazy. And they tried to discredit her. They tried to discredit her by asking her questions that weren't relevant to her job at all. They tried to discredit her by her refusal to answer their ridiculous questions. When somebody says, hey, I'm not sure how you want me to answer that because it's not relevant to the job that I'm applying for. Like,
right.
It and just, yeah. So if anybody's been watching the news, definitely the criticism and sexism and racism that Justice Jackson had to endure in the recent past weeks is evidence enough that it's still, sexism is just as real and relevant as racism, and it's still, and we've seen it play out on TV in real life a couple weeks ago, last week.
And I'm so glad you brought that up, because I wanted to end this segment on that note. Don't want to take too much time on this particular platform, because we want to get off in these comments. Well, y'all been off in the comments talking for a while now. I know y'all ready to get up on this panel so we can really, really talk about it. So I wanted to end on that note as well, because the way everything that woman endured, and there was only shout out that the one man that did stand up and say, hey, I'm proud of you, sis. You got this, sis. The one man that wanted to plant something into her that was substantial was a black man. I want to say I appreciate that. Now, that was a time that I did feel protected by the black man. We're not going to talk about Will Smith, but that made me feel protected by the black man when he spoke out against that. But for men, a lot of times men will say that this doesn't exist. This only exists in our heads. And even that attitude, that dismissiveness, even that contributes to what we're trying to say. And I want everybody to take into consideration how we feel instead of how you feel. We can talk about your feelings if that's what you want to do without hesitation.
Because, baby,
go ahead.
To piggyback off of you, shout out to Justice Cory Booker, because he's the one who did stand up for her, and quoted Maya Angelou and all that. So shout out to Cory Booker. And in regards to that, like I said, men, just because you don't experience or you don't see it doesn't mean that it's not existing. Doesn't mean it's just in our heads. And just come from a place from understanding if women do address it in the with you, and we're not being emotional. And it's we could get into how men are emotional and don't want to deal with their emotions, but that's another topic for another day. But yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The wine's getting but sound off in the comments if you haven't already. We're about to open up the panel up, and we want you guys to come up, speak on your experience. Women, if you've experienced sexism in workplace, and your personal life, social life, dating, come up and let us know. Let's talk about it. And men,
Let's do it.
is it possible for men to experience sexism? Let's talk about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We love y'all. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, this party.
Yes, I said it. Anybody want to fight? Anybody? Speak up. I can't hear you.